Matt Meehan here for irishboxing.com. Jamie Conlan, it's been a good few weeks in the Crocker camp since Windsor Park. Lewis is on a high. He's getting asked for meetings left, right, and centre, and media left, right, and centre. But first things, I say the head is kind of going 90.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Everything's steady. The ship is good. So it's yeah, he's getting the rightful attention that he deserves as world champion, and plans are in place now for a big 2026.
Let's go into this 2026 plan. There's rumors of Pacquiao, and obviously you had a great read, by the way, with David Mohan with the BBC Sport, and I just kind of a bit into that. Like there's fights that you could only dream of as a child that Lewis is kind of not on the cusp on, but they're being talked about.
Listen, world champions kind of it opens the doors for massive fights and massive needs around the welterweight division, and the names that it's getting floated around is just mega fights and dream fights and life-changing financial fights. So it's a fantastic time for Lewis Crocker because there is so many opportunities there for someone as well who can fight, who can be world champion, but also can sell between 18 and 20 odd thousand tickets. So it's yeah, very exciting times.
Um, how did the meeting go, or the call, or whatever it was? How did that go with Sam Gibbons?
No, listen, Sean is he's looking after the senator, and I think they're trying to do WBA route with Rowley, but it's world champions is what he wants. And Croc fits the bill as being a world champion and a fantastic opportunity for both. So it's communications are always open with Sean. Sean's always willing to work. So it's there's always opportunities there. But meetings with Frank Smith and Matchroom were very, very progressive. It was great getting over this week and getting the plan from Frank and understanding what options are there. Conorbenn being the main one that Lewis wants, and they're the big massive mega fights that he's looking. Pacquiao, Benn, it's an insane jump from where he was, say, this time last year.
Yeah. Um, just kind of that photo that came out yesterday, the day before, it was yesterday, yeah, of yourself and Lewis and Frank Smith and who the other lad, I can't remember his name.
It's Lewis's mate, JJ. He's
Yeah,
famous now,
yeah, yeah.
tennis player.
I seen him at the fight. Yeah, great guy. But he's all kind of in a photo together. Can you kind of elaborate more what happened on that day? Anything that you can say about the meetings that happened?
No, Frank was just giving this kind of option A, option B, and laying out the plans for the future, like they do at Matchroom. It's they're getting everything in order for Lewis and just kind of making sure that the path to what's next is smooth and everyone knows what's the game plan. And then yeah, went for some lunch. Lewis met with Barry Hearn as well, which was good. And and yeah, good stuff. Good day.
Could Eubank v Ben 2 outcome, could that determine the next move?
Yes.
In what
Yeah.
way, Jamie?
Uh Ben wins, Ben looks good, Ben comes through, then he could be, if he's ready in time for early part of next year, then it's potential. But or if he doesn't, then we have options in Belfast to do ones and a voluntary defence. And there's a lot of moving parts still because the big fights is what Lewis wants, and Ben is the biggest fight out there at this moment in Britain. So it's that's the one kind of he's chasing for. But also we have to look at, if that doesn't happen, we build the profile in Belfast. We keep things moving here. The momentum in Belfast is huge. The opportunities in Belfast is massive, and bringing another world title fight to the city is something that everyone wants to do. So we're looking at that as well, and who can be the perfect dance partner also.
Say it's historical in a way that, you know, Belfast boxing only thought and dreamed of the nights that we're getting now, and suddenly we're on the cusp of getting even more. But Belfast boxing on the cusp of getting even more. Windsor Park, the SSC, who knows? Maybe the waterfront could make a return. There's endless opportunities. The Ulster Hall can maybe be used as well for some fights.
Well, I think the last show proved that. You had local guys at every level in every fight there, nearly every fight there. So co-main event, Kevin, Tyrone, Matty Borland, and Rudy Farrell. There is loads to kind of build from here in Belfast. There's loads to build from in Dublin. There's loads to build from on the west of the country in Donegal and Galway. I think Irish boxing is booming, but massive nights to come. And then there's a lot of fighters that didn't get out. Kurt Walker, Conor Quinn. There's a lot of lads there that can still you can have consistent shows with big guys with main broadcasters coming over and top level fights. We're definitely riding the crest of wave, and every time you kind of think about where we're at here in Irish boxing, you think, oh, this is a good area, or this is the best era. It's constantly evolving and
Yeah.
constantly moving with the times and getting better.
Just briefly, Conor and Kurt. Conor obviously recently signing with Conlansports. Kurt Walker, he's coming back hopefully soon. Can you give us any in depth to both of those lads? What's the crack?
We're trying to get both lads out before Christmas. If not, it'll be the first quarter of next year. We've one or two plans in place. A few meetings with other promoters as well. Yeah, just trying to kind of get Kurt back, but both of them are ready for title fights. Like we
Straight off
had
the bat,
a
Jamie.
straight off the bat, I would like Kurt would jump it in with anyone, but he's good enough, and I think the last fight with Liam Davies proves he's good enough to kind of get in the mix with anybody. And Conor Quinn is ready for British titles, European titles. We've been speaking with the EBU, we're speaking with the British Boxing Board of Control for moving them into position to be mandatory for the vacant titles. So it's constant ongoing communication with both of them. Both lads ready to go. Both lads are training hard and just kind of want to get back to fighting.
And with Conor Quinn, in a recent article, he said with us that you've always looked on his career, and you've always admired his work. I guess it's nice to finally have him signed to the stable.
No, listen, I've always been a fan. Him and his wee crowd of mates, Paddy McCrory and a few of the boys, they were growing up in the same area as us in the Lower Falls and on Cabinet Street and Erskine Street stuff. So it was always kind of watching him. He was in the local club in Clonard Boxing Club, so I was always kind of keeping an eye on how he was progressing, coming through in the amateurs, and then as a pro after he came back from Australia. I was watching him, had him won a few cards with Mark, so always been a fan of his work. And when he approached to kind of get a cup of tea and sit down, I was more than happy to jump at it because I think he's a world class fighter. I think at flyweight as well, you can be moved very quickly, and the wee bumps in the road like he had against Kelso can be pushed aside and rectified right and quickly also because of the lack of depth in Europe, especially that you can get maneuvered right back into title contention right and quickly. But he's always proved. I watched him in the gym a good few times when I was up watching Paulie when they trained together, and I thought he's very very talented. He hits very hard for a flyweight. He's smart. He's articulate. He's got good boxing brain. He's very fast with his hands. He doesn't get hit too much. Great counter puncher, but also he's smart enough when he needs to go forward. He can go in and slug it out when he has to.
Conor Quinn, I say not Conor Quinn, Kurt Walker. Was Kurt Walker supposed to be on that Dublin card at all, or was there any plan
Kurt
at
was
all him
supposed
being
to
on the
be
card?
on September 13th. He was supposed to be on the Crocker card.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was all systems go, and then at the last second they dropped two fights from the card, which was Kurt Walker and Reece
Jones.
Owens.
Yeah.
So it was unfortunate because he was ready to go for that. So we were trying to get him out as soon as possible after that, and it kind of a few things fell through. But yeah, trying to get something for the end of the year for Kurt. If not, it'll be February.
Just with the two fights that were unfortunately dropped, was that just to do with timings, Jamie? Do you know, or was that
Payments,
just
all
yeah?
the venue needed to start. You couldn't have started any earlier, and we couldn't have went any later. So we caught
What
in
the
between.
earliest was? What, 4 o'clock?
I forget what was the first fight was,
Four, half
but
four issues around that
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You couldn't start anymore. Whatever it was, you couldn't start more than it, and then you couldn't go later than 11. So
Okay,
like you couldn't have anyone in the ring later than that. So
okay. Just again, in a brief off now, 8th of November. A start card, Tio Allen versus League only. A title on the line as well. That one is probably has been rumored for what a good while now. So it's good to see it official. And back in the Devonish as well.
Yeah, and that was one we were trying to do on September 13th also.
Yeah,
Initially we looked like we had it on, and then that one came off, and we had to pick between either Rudy and Matty Borland or that one, and Rudy and Matty got the
quite
nod.
high.
But the November 8th card, I think we potentially have another three fights going on it. Just waiting on confirming with Paddy.
What do we see?
Um,
Lex Weston.
oh, Lex is on it already, so I think at the minute we have Lex, Kelsey Leonard, Donna Carey coming back,
Yeah,
Theo,
Gary.
yeah, we Gary, and it's kind of it's one of them ones where it's building again, keeping Irish boxing, keeping Belfast boxing building,
Yeah,
and growing, giving the lads an opportunity to keep growing their career and getting better and learning on the job before the big nights come, where the fights kind of get a lot tougher and it becomes a lot more pressurized situation. But it's just about building and growing the boxing here, and hopefully three more added to it after the weekend, which would be good. Three good additions, and it's just growing. Everything is growing. Then we're looking at potentially February for the next one, and a wee bit bigger.
Can you say anything about the three more that are going to be added?
No, one's a girl and two fellas. That's all I can say.
Okay, okay. February. I'm sensing the SSC, or it could be back in the Devonish because there's so many venues, Jamie, in Belfast that you could pick one and it could be the completely opposite. Like I could say the SSC, and it could be the Ulster Hall, or I could say the Ulster Hall. It could be the Devonish. There's so many venues that you could pick from.
No, there's plenty, but there's plenty there where it's mixed between. I think we're missing out on one where you're going above kind of the Ulster Hall and below the SSE.
Yeah,
That between that like 3 to 5 thousand mark, we
yeah.
we it would be perfect here in Belfast, because when we're doing the shows like with Tyrone and Paddy and them kind of nights that we've done in the past, that's the perfect kind of venue size. SSE going up to 8 to 10 thousand is too big, but you get a smaller van, you'd be perfect. So we like to
But the
try something
Devonish
in the
not feel that, no?
waterfront. No, Devonish is 1,000 now,
Okay.
but yeah. So the waterfront, I think, is 2,000. I would like to try and do something there starting next year.
The waterfront hasn't been used in a good few years, Jamie, hasn't it? No, it hasn't been really active with fights.
No, and it's a great venue for boxing. Lovely
Yeah,
venue for boxing. I boxed in it myself a few times, and it was just class. Very,
yeah.
very theater-esque. Everything looking the one way, and it goes up really high. It's a really nice place to box in.
Um, with Lewis, what's Lewis's take been on the past few weeks? Has he loved the media? Has he kind of? I know he doesn't do much for it, but has he kind of taken it all in? Like from your perspective, has he enjoyed it?
He has, and he's done a bit more media than he's used to. Yes, he doesn't usually do it, but rightfully has been doing it, and kind of everyone has told him to soak it up. But it's not. It's no longer new to him now. He just wants to get back
Yeah.
training. He wants to kind of get back to work. He's enjoyed it while it lasted, and now he just wants to get back now and make the first defense of his world title and grow and aim for unifications and massive fights now. So yeah, it's kind of he went and done, like, it was fantastic. He was on the pitch for Northern Ireland, Slovakia.
Yeah.
He had done a Q&A on the night when Northern Ireland played Germany. So like he got to really feel, that football-esque atmosphere and getting wider audiences, being on BBC speaking and stuff. He's done a lot of
Met
media
the players well,
recently.
didn't he?
Yeah, he met the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, went and met the players on the week of the game, the first game. Then he went to the players' lounge and met Conor Bradley and stuff. So he's really enjoyed it. Um, but now it's time to get back to work, and that's kind of what he's feeling. He had a few injuries going into the last fight. Suspected fracture on his shin, which no one knew about. Hurling,
Sorry, when you're saying that, that is the last thing I would think of, more than the last thing I'd think of.
yeah, hurling fracture on his shin. It looks like it's a hurling fracture that he was carrying getting into the fight on his shin. and had really bad tendon damage on his right hand. So that was it was good to have a rest on that from his point of view. We went to TalkSport the other week and they wanted him to punch the punch machine to get his stats, and we wouldn't let him because of his hand. I'm just thinking, don't
Please
wreck your
don't.
hand
Please
on,
don't damage your
yeah,
hand again,
please
Lewis.
don't hit that.
Please.
Yeah. So yeah, he was much needed rest, much needed recuperation, and just enjoying becoming world champion and creating history and living his dream. But now it's just about now growing and financially securing himself for the rest of his life, and putting his name in history forever with massive fights here in Belfast.
It looked like, by the way, that Matchroom were moving with the media perspective that they favoured Paddy. Did that annoy Lewis at all? Did Lewis even notice that? Did that annoy
He
you? Did it annoy Billy? Any of the team at all whatsoever?
ignored Billy. Billy gets caught up in all that shit. But yes,
Yeah.
it no, Lewis, not so much. Myself, not so much. It was Lewis was focused on Lewis, and that's all kind of what really needed to be done. Um,
Yeah.
he didn't give a shit about who wanted or who thought what. He knew what he needed to do. He had the game plan from early, what he wanted to do directly after the fight. He told me that he knew how to beat him, and it was just about performing it on the night. The hardest thing to do from him was keeping that mental strength for 12 rounds to kind of keep composed. Don't let him punch first and punch with him, and don't kind of come in and commit, because that's when you can be caught. So it was fantastic game plan, fantastic mental strength that he's shown throughout the whole fight camp, especially fight week when tensions are very high and you have to remain coy and sit back, and then to go out and perform like that on the night was unbelievable.
I say it was you were kind of like, is this actually Lewis Crocker? Because the two different Lewis Crockers. I remember the last time we talked, that you said he only warmed up for the guts of 7 to 10 minutes, and then the next time he was warming up for an hour, it was completely different. Like there was a different mindset and everything, and he knew what he wanted to do when he got into that dressing room, and that game plan was set, and he was locked in, and obviously he went in and he did the job.
Yeah, I've seen him do a lot of different things. I remember one time when we were trying at the very start, when he was knocking everybody out, where we're trying to get him rounds and trying to get people to kind of test him in different styles, and he was able to outbox boxers early, and there's a lot of different things he doesn't get credit for. He was always just known as a big puncher, but I think he's a better boxer than he is a puncher. I think he's better at counter punching than he is kind of aggressively going forward. There's a lot that people kind of take for granted when they're in the ring with Lewis, and they think he's one thing, but he's really the other. Same to be said for Paddy. I think people were writing off his power in the fights and thinking he was just an out and out boxer, but he was a well, he could punch and fight on the inside better than people give him credit for.
Um, when that round came, when the second knockdown happened, did you think that the fight was down then? Did you know that there was less seconds on the bell then? Like, obviously that there was minimum timing on the fight, like the round was only over, but did you think that it was going to be over there and then, and he was going to rush in and try and go for it?
No, 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 I didn't. I thought we spoke about it the other day and laughed about it because I sprinted over to the corner and told him to relax and calm down, and everyone just calmed because I had been in that situation before when Michael knocked Lee Wood down in the
Yeah.
first round with seconds remaining, and it's just about remaining calm and sticking to the game plan and not getting caught up and going in and trying to finish him, because we're level fighters. They recover after that 1 minute.
And what, like, obviously I'm not a boxer and I don't know, but like, how long does it actually take for a boxer to recover from a heavy punch?
I guess everyone is different. If you're super fit, the way most elite fighters are, you can recover after the minute, and if it's treated well in the corner. But some punchers, it's hard. I remember getting hit one time, uh, um, of Joan and Kaz, and it hit me in the stomach and winded me. Um, and I was still winded in the third round when I was still going back and sitting down in the third round. I was still winded, still couldn't breathe. But it's just one of them things.
Tyrone said to us that it's going to be his last fight. Now Tyrone has said retirement about 7 times. So it's not really. We're not going to see retirement until the gloves are actually off and he's eating whatever he's eating with Tommy Mac. But anyway, on Tyrone, how's he doing?
He's doing well. He went and enjoyed Ibiza, which is strange for him.
Yeah, I seen that.
It just didn't see his. It's not his cup of tea, but he seemed to like it. Yeah, he
Were
told
you
me the
invited,
same
Jamie?
thing. No, no, thankfully not. But he had told me before it was this is it. This is finishing. I'm retiring. And in the change room, I think he kind of said to me, "You know, this is my last fight." And I went, "All right, just yeah, okay."
Just calm down,
But then
please.
yeah, and then he went out and he performed really well, and and he said, "I can't retire on that money now. Go and get me bigger fight. Go and get me big money. Go and get me a big fight."
Have you looked?
So there's been one or two offers, but they weren't the right offers. No.
What, too low money or just like it wasn't the right timing?
Time and money fight.
Okay, okay. Could we see Tyrone in the future possibly headline the SSE if that's in the correct mind and the correct appropriation that it could happen?
It's all dependent on the fight. All depending on
Okay.
the fight. Yeah, he's a cult figure. Cash. I would love him to retire, but then I would think, what the fuck will he do when he's retired? Probably eat in every takeaway restaurant
Eating in
in
podcasts. Eating in
Belfast. Yeah,
podcasts.
eating at podcasts. But he's got a life in that. He's got a life on the big screen, I do believe. But yeah, it just he's looking for one more big one, and it has to kind of make sense for him
Okay.
financially.
Is there any big plans or any plans at all that you can say for Conlan Sports for 2026? Any shows? Obviously, you said February for one or two bits, but is there anything else that you're kind of
Yeah,
you're
we're looking at a new kind of deal, new TV deal, and looking at do a bit more shows. We kind of took more of a step back from the shows this year, focused more on the management side of things and building different fighters and trying to grow kind of relations that way. And then Paddy has been snapping at my heels to kind of do the small stuff in the Deb niche and grow some stuff. So I've been working on that for a bit, and we're looking at doing one or two, sorry, four next year, four shows, four big shows next year, bigger.
they say nothing's impossible, and I'm trying to reiterate here: would Conlan Sports possibly come down to Dublin, if that's possible?
We'll see. Jay's doing something really good in Dublin,
Yeah,
and I always like to
like a
help the boys there.
partnership. Like, obviously, Night of Champions
Yeah,
was a bit of a
yeah.
partnership, but something
We
like that
we,
again.
we kind of did help. That got the zone for them when they done the show in Dublin that time,
Yeah.
and like always willing to help. Good relationship with Jay, really good relationship with Butch. So yeah, if there's ever something that can be done, I'll be speaking to the boys.
What do you think of the fights on Friday night just gone? A great card and an unreal atmosphere if you're watching it on telly.
Great card, great 50-50 fights, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Like real good fights, like top quality fights. And I'm delighted for Paul Ryan. I've always liked Paul Ryan, and really nice way about him, good people around him, good team, Screamer and co. So I was actually really, really delighted for him. It was a real good performance. I don't think people thought he still had that in him, and I think because he's mixed it at a really high level and came up short and had been knocked out the last time. They thought it was going to be the same, but he showed there's a lot more to him than what he's shown previously. Great boxing ability.
One last question, just forgot to ask this one. You've obviously seen Paddy Donovan and Liam Power being ordered. Do you think Donovan beats Power, and do you think that it's a good fight?
It's a great fight. Big fight for Australia. Definitely a good fight. Definitely really good fight. I think Paddy beats him. Yeah.
Okay, Jamie. On that note, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Good man, Matt. All the best, pal.